Welcome to the Canadian Leaders in Asset Management PEMAC Education and Certification Information Session. So Northern Lakes College respectfully acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 8 territory in Métis Nation of Alberta districts 13 through 15 and 20 through 22, traditional lands of First Nations and Métis peoples. We recognize the 15 First Nations and 4 Métis settlements located throughout our service region. All right, and just a few notes here on how to use Teams here. That's the platform that we're using right now. So you do have the ability to turn your camera and your microphone off and on throughout the session. If you have a question that you would like to say out loud, you can turn your microphone on and ask it that way. We do ask that you raise your hand here before you turn your microphone on, just so that whoever's speaking can finish their sentence here. So if you look kind of over to the left of the camera and the microphone, you'll see a little hand. If you click on that, it'll show that your hand is raised and we'll call on you to ask your question. See, it says the hand right there. Awesome. And if you also want to react to something that we say, there's little emojis here, really similar to what you would find on a Facebook post. So you can thumbs up, you can heart, you can laugh, react. Looks like Nicole's giving us an example of that, which is awesome. And to open up the chat here on the side, just to the left of the raise your hand button, there is a chat bubble. If you pop on that, again, it's like the Facebook comment section where you just type in what you want to say and you're good to go. So if you have any questions in there and you don't want to talk on the microphone, you can feel free to put your question in there. And myself and a few other people will be monitoring the chat, and so we can ask your question or address it in the chat. And that's it for me. I'm going to pass control over to Nicole, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Thanks, Johanna. Are you able to see the screen movement? Okay. I'm Nicole Guillen, and I'm the Education and Professional Development Manager at PEMAC, Asset Management Association of Canada. I'd like to thank Johanna, who is our liaison from Northern Lakes College, for hosting today's webcast. And she's joined us earlier and walked us through. And also today presenting with us is Shelley Wood, and who is wears many hats, including one of approved instructor for PEMAC and our programs. So I'm really glad that you've all joined us today, probably from across Canada and around the world. And I certainly invite you, maybe even pop in the chat where you're connecting to from today, and let us know. We have a full agenda today, and we'll walk through certainly a lot of different elements of the PEMAC programs and how you can stay connected with them and Northern Lakes College, as well as the recognition opportunities available through those programs and through PEMAC, and how you can get started. We do have a chat window, and as Johanna was walked through, so for all you can add questions to there. We may address them as we go, but if they're in context of what we're talking about, or certainly if information is to come, we'll let you know. But there is a opportunity at the end of today's session to let us know if you have any questions that we'll answer as well. This is being recorded, as Johanna mentioned, and we will be able to share the link to that recording following this in an email you'll receive. So without further ado, I'll share just a little bit about PEMAC for those that don't know who we are. We're a nonprofit association that promotes excellence enabling in maintenance, management, reliability, and asset management through collaboration, applied learning, leadership, and advocacy. We are the Canadian leaders in asset management, and there's many, many ways to connect, learn, and contribute, as well as achieve recognition through PEMAC. This is a quick view of that. We will focus in today on the learn and the achieve recognition pieces of that through PEMAC. We are a member-based organization, and really this is a quick snapshot of some of our members that will interact through PEMAC. What it represents, though, is that they are across all sectors, all different industries, but all passionate about maintenance and asset management and the assets that they manage. through a variety of ways that you can connect through PEMAC are the chapter events. We have chapters across the country actively hosting local events for peers and others that are in the profession to connect and learn as well. So we invite you to take a look at those chapter events if you're in and around any of those regions, and be sure to connect. You all is welcome. You can also check out our monthly online lunch and learns that are available through PEMAC. We have a website, pemac.org/events page that shows all of those details and the upcoming information on those. Be sure to check that out and get a little bit more information on a variety of topics related to that. You'll also notice on the events page that we have a national conference that we host each year in the fall. This year's conference, which is Main Train 2020-25, happens in Calgary at the end of October. So we hope that you take a look at that and come and join the conference if you can. We are accepting applications for presentations right now. So the call for abstracts is opened, and we invite all to submit an idea for a workshop or a short presentation if they have one. We do love to get different perspectives from people at different points in their journey. And so we invite you to submit an abstract for that. Otherwise, save the date, certainly, so you can join us in Calgary in October. PEMAC not only is connected across Canada, I showed a little bit of a snapshot of the membership and the chapters, but we are connected on a global scale as well. The Global Forum for Maintenance and Asset Management, we are a member of that, as well as other like-minded associations like PEMAC that are working together on a variety of initiatives related to the global resources and other products related to maintenance, reliability, and asset management. We are also a founding partner of the World's Partners in Asset Management, and which we collaborate again on global recognition, resources, and a lot of other initiatives. We'll talk a little bit more about that World Partners in Asset Management initiative and great elements that are coming out of there, including the global certification scheme near the end part of our webcast today. Along with the ways that you can connect with PEMAC is a variety of professional development opportunities. I'm going to pass it over to Shelley Wood now, who'll introduce a little bit more about PEMAC's professional development opportunities. She is, I mentioned, an approved instructor with PEMAC's program. We've had her speak at even our last Main Train conference. She's a well-versed and very has a lot of great information to share. Her day-to-day role is the Executive Director of Finance and People and Community at St. John Energy. So welcome today, Shelley, to share your insights with us.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm glad to be here, and I've been instructing with PEMAC since 2016, and it's been a great experience to leverage some of my former roles in operations and continuous improvement. So we can dive right in. So we've really got 4 paths that we'll talk to you about today. So we'll talk about the Maintenance Management Professional Program, the MMP, the Asset Management Professional Program, AMP, and of course, looking at the Certified Asset Management Assessor paths as well. So we can dive right into the MMP program. And you'll see a couple of themes that are consistent across both the programs that I'm going to go into detail about today. What it provides for you as an individual is a great foundation for advancing your career. It will give you more confidence in maintenance management knowledge and skills. You'll improve your collaboration skills to continuously improve your maintenance practices. It's high-level learning that's recognized by top employers, and Nicole will talk a bit about the recognition that comes with these programs. You'll get a professional designation and a college certificate. And we all know that there's a great value in education. There's an ROI on this program for you as an individual and also for the organization. And what does it provide your organization? It's great to have a common language and a common foundation to talk about these kinds of topics. It's one team that's unified in these practices. We teach leading practices in maintenance management and reliability. It creates a great ROI, and it standardizes your maintenance management, which takes a lot of the guesswork out of how to have these best practices. So who is this for? If you have the word maintenance or reliability in your job title, this program is for you. Whether you are at the very top of the organization or at entry level, it really is designed to give everyone in all levels these great foundations and maintenance best practices. So I'm going to walk you through the various courses, the modules of the MMP program. And the first one is the Integrated Strategy for Maintenance Management. And this really develops the framework for thinking about the strategic approach to maintenance management that is integrated with the business. So we draw on the elements that are presented in the maintenance excellence pyramid of uptime. And you will learn how strategy, people, basic care, materials management, performance management, work management, support systems, and tools such as RCM or reliability-centered maintenance and RCFA root cause failure analysis can work together to build a culture of excellence. And that's where we get started. Let's drop into module 2. So this one is production and operations management, and this links maintenance strategies with those of production and operations. By studying production methodologies, maintenance managers will be better prepared to apply these techniques to improve the performance of their business unit and align their efforts to support the production goals of the organization. Topics include aligning maintenance strategy with corporate strategy, continuous improvement, implementing quality control, overview of production systems and operation scheduling, as well as lean manufacturing principles and techniques. The next module is human resources management for the maintenance manager. And the first one of these programs is a 15-hour program. The other modules I'll take you through are 30-hour programs. So this module looks at how human resources practices relate to the maintenance environment. We can't maintain things without people. So the topics we cover include the role of human resources in maintenance management, meeting legal requirements, recruitment and selection, orientation, training, and employee development, proper application of performance appraisals, the union management interface, managing change through effective leadership, and managing safety in the workplace. All right, we can go to the next one. These first 4 are my favorite because these are the ones that I teach. Not that I'm biased. The last one is financial management that I teach anyway for the maintenance manager. And this module focuses on the application of accounting and finance principles as it pertains to the maintenance management role. The module will give you an understanding of the foundation principles of accounting and cover the 4 main pillars of accounting knowledge that the maintenance manager needs to have to support a successful maintenance department. These 4 main pillars are project analysis, budgeting and forecasting, cost analysis for managerial decisions, and MRO inventory. Additional topics we cover include some basic understanding of accounting principles, understanding how costs flow in an enterprise system, project analysis, budgeting, forecasting, and other exciting financial topics. All right, let's hit module 5. So this is new curriculum called Maintenance Strategy Development. And this module focuses on the elements informing the development of a robust maintenance program, which aims at physical assets performing safely, capably, reliably, and repeatedly to their desired performance in their given operating context. Introductory topics include failure definitions, the fundamentals of a maintenance program, and asset criticality analysis, followed by the main types of maintenance and their associated tasks. The second part of the course deals with processes and methodologies used to develop a maintenance program. This includes RCM, reliability-centered maintenance, and a detailed review of the 7 questions, as well as a few other processes. The last part of this course covers the PMO method and additional tools to identify tactics. At the end of this course, you will have a better understanding of what developing a maintenance program entails and an informed knowledge of the various maintenance processes and methods used in the industry. Module 6 is maintenance work management. Effective work management ensures that the right maintenance work is done on the right assets at the right time, using the right resources and the right tools. This module provides a study of the fundamental principles of the work management process in addition to the basics of planning, scheduling, and work coordination methods. Upon completion of this module, participants will have a sound understanding of work management processes, practices, and tools, and how to effectively apply them to achieve the goals of improving reliability while minimizing interruptions to production processes and/or services. So topics include proper prioritization of identified work, effective use of resources, aligning maintenance activities with production or service schedules, integrating proactive maintenance tactics, developing and documenting maintenance strategies, and integrating proactive maintenance tactics. All right, Module 7 is maintenance information management. And this module will demonstrate why collecting and managing maintenance information is important for realizing value from assets and aligning maintenance management with the organization's overall objectives. Participants will learn when and where maintenance information is critical within the asset's life cycle, and particularly within the maintenance management functions. This module will discuss the processes and tools that create, collect, and manage maintenance information, and how to manage data efficiently and effectively. Upon completion of this module, participants will recognize maintenance management processes and information systems that define, collect, and transform data and information to underpin decision-making foundations. And last but not least, you will be doing a capstone project. Through the application of the key learning elements from the previous 7 modules, participants will apply the principles, latest concepts, and techniques to a final project. Participants will select a project that will audit, assess, and improve their current maintenance departments, or develop a new maintenance strategy in their company, or resolve a significant maintenance issue within their departments. There is also the option of developing a greenfield maintenance strategy and program upon approval from the instructor. The assessment of the capstone projects is intended to qualify participants for their MMP certification and designation. And I'll pass it back to Nicole.
Great, thanks, Shelley. So I can share just as Shelley shared, many of these details we'll share now goes across all of the programs. So we might repeat a little bit, but the MMP and all of our curriculum has been developed and is maintained by PEMAC subject matter experts that are working practitioners in a variety of different industries and things. So you'll see lots of different perspectives represented through the curriculum. It is independent of consulting and services. There's no product information or sales pitches or anything like that throughout. So it's very well balanced, certainly with the key information you'll need to know to perform your roles better. It is aligned with the bodies of knowledge that are representing those leading global resources that I've mentioned earlier through World Partners and Global Forum of Maintenance Asset Management. The instructors, like Shelley as well as one, and many others are typically practicing professionals. And also as a benefit for enrolling in any of the MMP or AMP, any of the PEMAC courses, you are also entitled to 1-year complimentary membership to PEMAC. So will right away be able to start connecting with like-minded professionals and accessing many of the great resources through PEMAC. The courses are delivered live online, typically, or in person by teaching institutions across Canada. It's available in English and French, the MMP program. As Shelley discussed, that Module 1 is 15 hours of learning. The other 7 modules are 30 hours, as well as the additional coursework that you'll complete outside of those classroom hours. There are a variety of schedules available depending on how the different teaching partners are delivering them or scheduling them. Some are full day classes, others are 3 hours per week for a 10-hour week, for example, 10 weeks. Typically, you'll find that it's 225 hours for all 8 modules of classroom time. In addition, again, you'll those have that coursework time. You could reasonably take 3 courses per year while working full-time. It's definitely designed for working practitioners. So you'll be able to balance that along with your other demands of work and life to your learning. And it takes about 2 years to complete the MMP program in that way, taking 1 course at a time. A variety of recognition opportunities are available through the MMP program that we'll talk through. As Shelley mentioned, completion of all 8 leads to a certification. So the MMP certification, we'll talk to in a minute. Certification is quite valuable, not only to individuals, but certainly to an organization as a testament to someone's credentials, legitimizing their competence to perform that role. It really provides you and your organization credibility from a third party that's able to assess that knowledge that you have. So there's just so many great value for having that certification and working towards that as well. The MMP certification is awarded to those that complete all 8 of the MMP modules and you will have the ability to have MMP as your designation at the end of your name as well. You'll gather all of your transcripts when you complete the courses and apply to PEMAC for that certification. The MMP education as well, it also has another path towards certification. There are some competency-based certifications that PEMAC delivers, including the CTAM and the CPAM, which we will talk a little bit more later. Those are education and experience-based certifications, so well-rounded competency, and MMP qualifies as the knowledge component for those competency-based certifications. So you'll notice a variety of paths, including some short, more focused paths. We do have this chart available on our website as well, but it's one that a member organization has created that becomes a training path for individuals within their organization. Depending on their role, they may really benefit mostly from a more focused learning path of MMP and not really need to take all 8 modules. And so, for example, you'll see some of those here in this chart. We have identified that that this is certainly a learning path for many people, and we've created some recognition opportunity for them through some certificate of achievements. And I'll talk about that next. Is, for example, completing modules 1 and 5 would qualify a practitioner for maintenance strategy development certificate of achievement. And this really is one focused more on maintenance and reliability, engineering, or others that really focus on that reliability elements within their role in the organization. And so it awards the certificate of achievement to those. Modules 1 and 6 leads to the maintenance work management certificate of achievement. This really has been a great focus for planners and schedulers and those in operations, and a good stepping stone at least to get that recognition of the elements of the program that will align very well with your role that you're in or aspiring to be in. And so we find that these 2 certificate of achievement certainly have broadened the type of audience that is interested in taking MMP because of its recognizable knowledge that you'll use right away. It is also recognized by a number of other associations, including Alberta and Ontario Water and Wastewater, for CEU credits. Perhaps you're working in those industries and require those credits to maintain your water certificate. And so this program will get you those CEU credits. You'll also be able to qualify for your Blue Seal through Alberta or BC, Saskatchewan, for example. All of the MMP program qualifies you for that element and that recognition, moving into your Blue Seal certification. And also if you're CET or perhaps engineer and require CPD, these courses qualify for that credit. So you'll be able to earn that credit as well as expand your knowledge of the program when you're going through there. How you get started in MMP. I mentioned it's offered live online or in person across the country, and we do have a number of different partners that do deliver these courses in many different regions and very accessible. Most recognizable for Northern Lakes College that's hosting our session today. They are offering all of the MMP program as a live online and quite accessible. You'll interact through their classrooms, such like you are today, and have full access to a lot of variety of resources and things. I will pause maybe if Joanne wants to mention anything, but I will focus overall to the upcoming schedules for the MMP program through Northern Lakes College. The next offerings begin in March and run all the way through April for the spring sessions. The college will be releasing in the next few months their upcoming schedule as well beyond that for 2025-26 schedule for MMP. So there will be a variety of courses offered in all of this throughout the year. You can also find MMP Module 1 in person, and sometimes we have a connection through different conferences. We hosted a workshop, including our own main train conference. So we will be hosting MMP Module 1 as a 2-day work opportunity, full day in person while we're in Calgary. So mark your calendars for that. October 27th and 28th, and you will be able to access that learning as well as take advantage of the conference on site and all the great opportunities that you have there for that. Okay, I'll stop and pass it back to Shelley, who'll talk about our asset management training.
Thanks, Nicole. So we're on a different path now. We'll talk about asset management as one of our development opportunities. And I'm going to probably just hop over to the benefits slide for individuals. Very similar to our MMP, you're going to have a foundation for career progression, more confidence in your asset management knowledge, collaboration with other departments. We've got the learning that's recognized by employers, professional designation, certificate, and we know that this is going to deliver ROI for you as a person and also for your organization. And similar to the MMP, it really is about creating that common language and that one team is working together on developing and implementing asset management strategies. It's about leading practices in asset management. It's about ROI. It's about delivering value and making sure we've got great alignment across all the different functions that are involved. So who is this program for? It's really just about anyone who's in the asset management life cycle. So if you're an asset manager, you look at data analysis, perhaps a superintendent, you might be a production manager, maintenance engineers benefit as well, reliability, people in finance or in the business. Asset management, as we'll get into in just a moment, is really about how do we get the most value out of the assets we have deployed in the organization. And that really is a cross-functional opportunity for anyone in the business who deals with finance, maintenance, or asset management. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Module 1. And this is really about dispelling the myth that asset management is simply maintenance renamed. Asset management is about the efforts to realize value from assets across the entire life cycle, from conception to reclamation. So maintenance management is really about the operate and maintain phase, and it's about restoring or maintaining equipment function. Whereas asset management is how do we optimize that value? There are 6 courses, and the first course is called Asset Management Principles and Strategic Development. This is where we start to unpack and unlock that myth that asset management is, again, another form of maintenance management. We look into all the components that go into holistic asset management, starting with your strategic objectives and ending up with tools in hand and tasks in the courses that will enable achievement of those objectives. We look at the risks that could happen, the leadership needed to build an inclusive culture, the knowledge, skills, and information requirements, as well as the life cycle tactics we need to employ to ensure we drive the most value from any assets. At the end of this course, you'll be able to define the key principles of asset management, explain asset management policy and its development, explain asset management strategy and its development, identify the requirements for developing asset management plans, identify the principles of asset management decision-making, the principles of risk mitigation and contingency planning, recognizing the key elements of the design and acquisition phase, as well as the elements of the operation and maintenance phase, and identify the principles of asset rationalization, renewal, and disposal. All right. So course 2 focuses on asset management capabilities development. This is a really enjoyable course that looks at what types of leadership we need to develop the culture we want. It looks at relationships within the organization as well as those with the stakeholders outside the organization. It looks at how do we develop the skills we need, both hard and soft, what needs to change, and more importantly, how to manage that change. With the text for this module, we see examples of how successful leaders have performed and get an understanding of the attitudes and approaches that will allow us to succeed. This module should be mandatory for anyone moving up or hoping to move up in their organization. At the end of this module, you'll be able to explain key concepts, terms, and definitions used when developing organizational capability, evaluate organizational structures, evaluate teams and individuals to identify changes to roles and responsibilities, describe a change management strategy, state the basic principles of project management, describe asset management improvement projects in terms of work activities and required resources, explain the benefits of investing organizational resources in asset management improvement projects, identify key requirements for products, services, and information, explain collaborative customer-supplier contracts, and also describe the key support systems needed for a holistic asset management culture. All right. Module 3 It's all about risk management and performance improvement. This module helps us understand the importance of evaluating risk and then reacting to what we find. It takes the intent of ISO 31000 and applies it in an asset management environment and covers everything from the risk to strategic objectives down to the risk of the asset not functioning. You will learn the various ways of dealing with risk. You will look within your organization and in all likelihood come up with surprising findings. By the end of this module, you will have identified risks, made a decision on what you're going to do about them, and have a plan and tasks to reduce the consequences of those risks. In every situation, there will be risks, but using this module as a template, you can feel confident you will contribute to your organization's risk management. At the end of this module, you'll be able to apply risk management in the ISO asset management context, describe risk management governance, strategic and operational processes, and risk applications in general, as well as in specific business sectors, prepare risk management plans and identify risks using various techniques, rank risks using a variety of processes and techniques. You can then apply various risk quantification techniques, prepare risk treatments using generic and specific strategies, monitor and review risks, manage a risk feedback program, and understand performance improvement, lessons learned, etc. And finally, you'll recognize how risk supports asset performance, and you'll review examples of risk management failures. A great way to learn. All right. Course 4 of this program focuses on developing and implementing asset lifecycle delivery activities. At the end of this module, you'll recognize the importance of asset lifecycle delivery activities on asset life and in achieving compliance with industry legislations. You'll identify the different asset lifecycle delivery activities, such as asset creation or acquisition, asset operations and maintenance, and asset disposal, recognizing the importance of operating or service level of assets and performance standards in the current operating context. You'll be able to describe the concepts of asset function, functional failure, and failure modes and effects analysis. You'll be able to evaluate the consequences of failures and how to select appropriate proactive maintenance tasks. You'll learn how to select appropriate default maintenance tasks for different failure modes when no proactive maintenance tasks are possible. You'll recognize the importance of asset operations practices and failure finding activities. You'll determine how to develop implementation plans to prioritize, plan, and schedule maintenance delivery activities. You'll use reliability engineering and root cause analysis to determine the causes of failure. And you'll learn how to apply cost-benefit analysis and life cycle costing analysis to support asset rationalization and asset disposal decision-making. All right. Cooking now on asset management. So let's talk about course 5, and this is about asset knowledge management. One of the most common heard comments about asset knowledge is that it's walking out the door and not coming back at an alarming rate. What systems do we need? How can we retain some of this knowledge? That is what this module is about. Building on previous modules, this module looks at how do our systems demonstrate that we are working in support of these strategic objectives, what measures do we use, how do we ensure that our efforts and systems are aligned. As we move to big data and the industrial Internet of Things, the management of this data and the resulting information is becoming more and more important. So in this module, you'll identify the full asset information cycle and the ecosystem of information types and applications in use across that asset lifecycle. You'll develop and implement an asset management information strategy for your department or business. Hopefully, you'll make better and more informed decisions regarding the frequency and type of asset-related data and knowledge that you should be capturing and leveraging to meet your department or company business objectives. You'll recognize the role of and develop strategies for the use of industry standards such as ISO 14224 as part of your information asset management strategy. You'll implement strategies and tactics to leverage asset information as a shared corporate asset and foster collaboration across participants, departments, companies, and industry. You'll also implement tactics to address changing demographics, capturing knowledge from an aging workforce, and engaging the digital generation. You should walk out of this being able to describe the organization of the future and the increasing role of asset management, asset information in the information-driven organization. Improvement metrics, KPIs, and dashboards. You'll be able to leverage those to more effectively communicate and share knowledge. You'll have tactics to establish a solid asset information foundation, plus strategies to protect, govern, and sustain this critical foundation over time. So the next thing you'll want to do is make sure you can develop productive relationships with subject matter experts and writers, and learn how to keep your focus on the audience and work on documents that are online. Okay. And last but not least, similar to our MMP program, the Asset Management Professional Program also has a capstone project where you will leverage everything you've learned in the previous 5 modules to develop a project. By successfully completing this course and project, you will improve your ability to demonstrate knowledge of all asset management components, develop an asset management strategy, policy, and plan, implement that plan, consider the complete asset lifecycle from concept to disposal, reinforce the alignment of organizational goals from boardroom to the shop floor, communicate the influence and impact of the stakeholders in the business environment on asset management decisions, recognize that the overall outcomes are dependent on the cohesive integration of all activities. You'll develop and implement asset lifecycle delivery activities. You'll be able to specify asset management information strategies and its use in strategic decision-making. You'll also understand and emphasize the need for performance measurement and continuous improvement with respect to organizational objectives. You'll identify the importance and impact of change management, positive leadership, and culture on asset management. And finally, you'll relate all the activities that represent the 4 asset management fundamentals. I'll pass it back to Nicole.
Thanks, Shelley. Great overview. So like the Maintenance Management Professional Program, the AMP program is also developed and maintained by subject matter experts, and instructors are typically working practitioners as well. So you'll really see that sense of cross-sector and influence and representation of people that have been doing these roles that are now teaching. So really great resources as through the instructors and curriculum that's being built. It's aligned with the bodies of knowledge, as I shared earlier. Lots of references Shelley went through with ISO as well. We recently updated all of the courses this past August to reflect all of the updates that have been released in the summer with ISO and asset management landscape, etc. So it's very current, reflecting the newest resources. And completion of the 6 courses leads to the CAMP certification that PEMAC awards. These courses are delivered online, but asynchronously online. So a little bit different than the MMP program where it's live online. They're asynchronously online. Each course is 10 weeks long and represents about 30 hours of lesson time, plus additional time for the coursework outside of those lessons. You'll log on each week for each lesson at a time that's suitable for you. And so it really is conducive to many time zones and people participating even across Canada, but around the world, because you kind of schedule your time that works best for you. Complete those lessons and activities in the time that works well for you, but before the deadlines, sort of each week, there's weekly deadlines and such. And you're really connecting with the other participants in the program, as well as the instructor who's guiding your learning through these online discussion forums. So by posting and then replying to other posts and doing the interaction through those forums is how you'll kind of build that learning with other participants and the instructor. You could take 3 courses again a year while working. It is designed for working practitioners to take these programs, so very accessible in that way in learning. Northern Lakes College delivers these courses and schedules them each fall, winter, and spring. So there's always an opportunity to take them. I'll go through those schedules coming up in just a second with Northern Lakes College. I want to first touch upon the recognition element of it. So we talked about that the 6 courses in the AMP program leads to the CAMP certification awarded through PEMAC. So you'll gather your transcripts and apply to PEMAC for that recognition. It is also a knowledge component for the competency-based certifications, which I described a little bit about in the beginning with CTAM and CPAM, but now also the CSAM certification is qualifies you for the through the AMP knowledge. We'll talk a little bit about more of those in a moment, but there is a variety of recognition paths available for AMP. It's also recognized by a number of professional bodies and governmental institutions. Again, CEU credits through Alberta and water and wastewater in Ontario as well for CEU credits, CPD for CET or engineering technologists and engineers. Certainly check with your provincial bodies on how you apply that credit for your CPD, but each has a little bit of a different process, but certainly you could do that provincially. And it's recognized by quite a number of, including CNAM, for some training and deepening your knowledge of asset management. One thing I want to talk about also is prior learning and assessment and recognition. This PLAR process is available also for MMP, but certainly for AMP as well. There are other courses perhaps that may be similar, or your experience that you have in any of these topics that Shelley went through. You could apply for credits and be exempt from taking them if you already have that knowledge and experience. On our website, there's more information available, including some equivalencies that we've recognized for AMP Course 1. So if you've already taken IPWAEAs or NAM Canada, offered by NAMS Canada, Asset Management Planning Professional Certificate, or some others, the IAM certificate preparation courses and the IAM certificate, you would be able to apply for credit for AMP Course 1, and then you can jump right into the other courses, AMP 2 through 6, to earn your CAMP certification. So there is similar opportunity available for the MMP program as well through that PLAR learning. Get started with AMP. I mentioned that Northern Lakes College delivers this course. They are the only institution to do that asynchronously online. You'll get links to their website and things as in a follow-up as well, so you can see that upcoming schedule. They do offer, as I mentioned, the courses every winter, so January, every April, and every September. The upcoming courses begin the week of April the 15th, and our registration is available now for those. And the upcoming schedule for the 2025-26 school year will be available in the next month or so as well, a couple of months. So you'll be able to plan out your learning following that once that schedule is available. I also just want to touch briefly. I know we've talked quite a bit here, so we'll try to wrap this up so we can spend some time on Q&A here. But we do have another course that has been developed called the Becoming a Certified Asset Management Assessor course. We have recently updated this course to reflect that it's a preparation for the CAMA 2 exam. I'll walk through a little bit about that. For those that don't know, so the CAMA 2 certification is awarded by the world's partners in asset management. And you might recall earlier in the webcast, we shared that PEMAC is a founding partner of that association and collaborated to build these certifications around a global scale. So CAMA 2 recognized in Canada, but also every other country in the world practically. So it establishes an individual's credential in asset management knowledge, comprehension, and is recognized globally. And it is granted upon successful completion of the CAMA 2 exam, as well as the demonstration of knowledge. So you have experience. Typically, it's a minimum of 5 years of asset management experience, and it varies. So together with the completion of the exam, as well as the experience, World Partners will award you, World Partners in Asset Management will award you the CAMA 2 certification. PEMAC has developed a course for those that are preparing to write that exam to provide a little bit more confidence and such going into there. And it is offered called the Becoming a Certified Asset Management Assessor course. This course is not only ideal though for those that are writing the CAMA 2 exam, but also just want to establish, a deeper knowledge of asset management knowledge as well. So you don't have to write the exam, but this certainly will help you become prepared for that. It's ideal for senior and mid-career professionals in any sector, definitely who want to refresh their knowledge or write that exam. Again, like the other courses, designed by PEMAC subject matter experts, and it has recently been aligned. We really just last month have released the newest curriculum aligned with all of those updates with the ISO standards and the global forum of the asset management landscapes and all the other resources that were recently updated. This is now aligned to those updates and aligns to the CAMA 2 exam. So we're quite excited about that. It's available by on demand through Northern Lakes College. So you can begin anytime and you wish and participate in the recorded lessons. There's 14 hours organized into 7 2-hour pre-recorded lessons. So you get a great sense of learning there. You'll have access to that classroom for 3 months to complete those lessons. You can do them right away, or you can take up to 3 months to complete at your leisure. And you'll have instructor support along your learning journey. You should connect with Northern Lakes College to register for that course, but you can register and begin anytime. So it's quite accessible. If you're interested in going on after that course to write the CAMA 2 exam, you can do that. It is a 2-hour online proctored exam through World's Partners in Asset Management. It's available in a number of languages, including English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and growing. So you'll definitely have access to any language of those you wish to write it in. PEMAC members do receive a discount to write that exam. And so remember, you may recall that I mentioned you'll have access to a complimentary membership by participating in any of these courses. So you certainly would have a chance to activate that participant membership discount and access the World Partners discount for this exam right away. So we certainly invite you to do that. Yeah, so you can select any time to write that exam at your leisure when you finish the course. More information is available on our website, and you'll have a chance to learn more and to access all of the details you need to prepare. I'll spend a little bit of time here, just a few more slides, talking about those competency-based certifications that we briefly touched on as we went through those knowledge components of MMP and AMP, just to share the stage of all of the other opportunities you'll have for recognition. And so it is definitely a major milestone not so long ago with PEMAC and our other like-minded associations working together with the World Partners in Asset Management, where we've developed this global certification scheme. And it allowed us, as well as all the other partners through the World Partners in Asset Management, to develop some key certifications that are the same in any country. So it's really a global collaboration that will recognize you in Canada as one of as well as Australia or many other countries. So it's certainly great recognition there. I will share this slide quickly that shows you where MMP as well as these others fit. So we discussed that MMP and AMP programs were really that knowledge that you're learning. And so these are the knowledge components, and the certifications awarded there recognize the knowledge that you have through taking those educational programs through Northern Lakes College or the other partners. But these competency-based CTAM, CPAM, CSAM certifications are also take into your account not just your knowledge, but also your experience. And so as you'll see on these axes, just the depth and the breadth of knowledge and experience that you do have will lead you to one of these certifications. So it depends on the path that you wish to take, or certainly the experience that you have, as you decide which certification is right for you. The CTAM, which also is recognized, I mentioned that in MMP as well as CPAM. So the CTAM is a certified technical specialist in asset management, and it's applicable to people that are proficient in the application of a specific domain, essentials, activities, as well as other activities within one domain of asset management. So it doesn't need to be a specific domain, but just certainly a singular domain related. So it could be finance, for example, or maintenance management. So one domain in asset management required to deliver against the asset management objectives of your organization. And so that's CTAM. CPAM is the Certified Practitioner in Asset Management, and this certification is applicable for practitioners who are responsible for the establishment and updating and management oversight of the application of a domain of asset management with that's significant to an organization's asset management framework across a significant area of a business. So these are laddered certifications. So as you see, as we go on here, you'll see that there's certainly more responsibility across multiple domains or more significant impact within the organization, such as the Certified Senior Principal in Asset Management, which is the CSAM certification. And that certification is applicable for practitioners who are responsible for the establishment of and updating management oversight of the application of the holistic and integrated asset management framework. So not just one domain or it's really that holistic asset management across your organization. So larger responsibilities, larger impact on your overall organization's strategic objectives. And so depending on your experience and the knowledge, and the path you wish to go for, certainly one of these certifications may be right for you with your, and you can find out more on the PEMAC website, and there's a self-assessment tool. If you want to go down one of these paths around these certifications, you can have some quick sense of your experience as well as the knowledge that you have to see which ones will match up to your goals. You can learn more about any of those on PEMAC's website as well. And as I mentioned, take that self-assessment. But we just wanted to briefly touch on this opportunity for that recognition there for the competency-based certifications, as well as the PEMAC's education-based certifications that we talked mostly about earlier. More information is on our website about any of those, but also through Northern Lakes College as well. And we will pause now and see if there's any questions on any of that information that we have shared. It's quite a bit, I know, of information, but certainly we're happy to answer any questions you might have about any of those details, specific program or delivery or anything you have. So feel free to, you can certainly raise your hand or you can type it in the chat window as well. And we'll wait a second for those coming in.
Always exciting to see the 3 dots, you know, moving around.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll start maybe as they're typing questions. Some we get more questions around MMP and the different ways that it could be delivered as well. There's the private offering opportunity through MMP. Those courses do lend itself quite well to coming on site. Perhaps you have a team at your organization that is would like to learn at least some of those modules, really have an impact within a lot of different, Shelley described some of the different departments that really connect and work well with maintenance and reliability as well, could learn together at your organization. So we talked a lot about the MMP program being delivered through the Northern Lakes College and the schedules and things through that live online delivery, but it could also come to you. The instructors can come to your organization and do it as a private offering as well as that. So that's certainly an opportunity. We can share a little bit more of the details with you. Okay, great question. For AMP, is module 1 a prerequisite before the other modules are available to take? And indeed, that's a great question. Yes. AMP, for the AMP program, you should be taking course 1 first. It is a prerequisite to enter into any of the other courses. And so that should be first. And course 2 through 5 can be taken in any order that you wish, though. So there's no, it's logically is a great sequence to the program. So there's a reason they're in that order, but you don't have to take course 2 through 5 in that order because of scheduling or a variety of other reasons why you would take a different path. The only other prerequisite for AMP is that course 6 be taken last. So AMP first 1 and then 6 last, and the other courses can be taken in any order. And it possibly would delay maybe your starting to the other courses for sure. So as you take first, for example, course 1 you could take in April, and then you could jump into the rest some of the other courses in the fall in September or the following 2026 year as well. Great question, Stefan. That would also be true with MMP. We do recommend you begin with Module 1. There are some situations where, because of scheduling, that's not also always possible, but it's great really to have that great foundation with Module 1 and begin there, and then move on to the other MMP modules, which do not have to be taken in order of 2 through 7. You can mix up the order that you take those modules, but again, Module 8 must be taken last. As Shelley shared, that capstone project, really you're applying that knowledge that you've learned in the 7 courses. Okay, see some typing. Let me just. Okay. I'll jump to is AMP and CAMP different designations? No, so the AMP is the program, so the Asset Management for Professional Program, and completion of that course, those 6 courses, leads to the CAMP certification. So they are one and the same. You get a CAMP certification when you complete the AMP program. I hope that helps to clarify that. Okay. Is the maintenance management aimed at maintenance for more industrial, i.e. factory or stationary assets, or would these courses be applicable for any assets, mobile construction equipment, for example? Great question. It is Shelley can answer too, but in my experience, it's aimed at any assets, any typically physical assets for sure, but we know there's people or assets or reputation or other things too, but certainly physical assets, I would say, across any industry. And you'll find people in different, municipalities, for example, that maybe around roads or have other assets like buildings or other facilities, but you also have manufacturing people assets, or even hydro or electricity and water, variety of assets. And so within each courses, you'll have other examples of different assets, but the instructors will also really take note of who's participating and bring in examples that are relevant to the students in the classroom. I'll maybe pause though and let Shelley with her experience in sharing that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if there's a variety of asset types kind of in the room, we try to leverage examples, things like vehicles, things like mobile construction equipment, as you've noted. The principles can really apply to any asset. It's just, kind of telling the stories that help land the concepts in a way that's meaningful for the students.
Great. Question about the AMP courses. Wondering what the deadline is to withdraw from a course in order to receive a refund in the case of circumstances change after I register for a course 1. Maybe I'll pause and let Johanna answer that. Actually, that would be a great question for Northern Lakes College around the registration and enrollment procedures and deadlines. Go ahead, Johanna.
Yeah, for sure. So we do have an administrative $50 fee that is charged for canceled or transferred registrations. Tuition will be fully refunded, less that $50 administrative fee when notice of withdrawal is given 14 days before the course start date. There is a partial refund of 75% of the tuition fee granted if notice of withdrawal is received less than 14 days prior to the course start date and up to 14 days after the course start date. So there is that window of 14 days before and after the course start date, where it's that 75%. For 100% minus the $50 fee, unless there's extenuating circumstances, you have to withdraw the 2 weeks before. Great. And that's the same for AMP and MMP.
Yeah, great. I will also just put a little plug with when you register early with Northern Lakes College, there's a great incentive. So if you do know you want to considering planning and enrolling in some of the courses across the board, Northern Lakes College offers an incentive when you register early and a slight discount on registration fees. As soon as the enrollments open for the full schedules, you'll be able to access that. I think it's up to 2 weeks before. Johanna, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks?
So the early registration is up until a week before the course starts.
Great.
So if you decide you want to take MMP 1, which starts March 5th, you have that early registration fee up until next Tuesday, the 25th.
Great. So we have a question about the deadlines to register. It depends on the course and when it's scheduled, for example, but Johanna can share.
Yeah, so for MMP, we are a little bit flexible because we do realize that sometimes there are extenuating circumstances. But for MMP, we try to have our registrations done by the day of class. So if you register on the day of class, we'll do our best to get you in, but sometimes there's some system controls that take a little while to kick in. For MMP, you have up until a week after the course start date to register.
AMP, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's the asynchronous style with AMP as well. Definitely, as Joanna says, there's a bit of flexibility. So you can begin up after the week, up to the week after the course date. Great questions. Would AMP courses give an understanding of accounting principles and knowledge, such as purchasing and selling assets, ROI, TCO, and other accounting type lingo like that? That would be, and again, Shelley could share lots on that. It would be really more aligned with MMP Module 4. Really, there's much more financial and accounting information within that, and budgeting and purchasing and things such as that. Within the MMP program, Module 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the financial module is a really robust module. I think the folks that came and took that with me live were quite amazed at the breadth of topics we covered, including how costs flow through the organization and many of the topics like ROI and those kinds of things. Not so much on the procurement side and the selling side of things, but you'd get some principles that would help you kind of calculate through some of those outcomes.
In the AMP programs, in the courses, there's not a specific financial module, but really it's intertwined about the role sort of finance and considerations on purchasing and capital and planning and things like that within some of the modules. Yeah, indeed. Just not as in-depth. It's very holistic and how that intertwines and that, finance is certainly a big part of all of the discussions around asset management. And so how that kind of connects with all of the other elements as well in the different departments. Do you know if MMP modules qualify for employer training grants funding? I do believe I haven't looked at the BC one exactly myself, but I do believe so. I know in Ontario, in second career funding and things like that, that they do. But certainly, Dustin, we can check more about that later and follow up with you directly. We have had the opportunity to share details provincially with some of those organizations that do determine what makes the list and not. And so certainly if it's not on the list, we can work on finding out how there's a way to do that in each of those provincial groups for sure. There is a page on when we learn about opportunities like that, where things are funded or access to funding, there's a page on the PEMAC site under our education page that talks about the funding opportunities we are aware of in each of the provinces. So I'll take note of this actually for the BC specific example and see if I can learn more and find out if we are on the list or can get on the list for you there. And we can certainly reach out personally to you, but if I do find more information, I'll add it to that funding page on the PEMAC site. It certainly is a great opportunity though for learning and expanding, and many provinces are finding that as a path forward to give that knowledge to people and find new careers and things of that nature. So great question. certainly. We still have time if there's other questions as well about either of the programs.
I'll just jump in. I'm not sure if you see my hand, but
Oh,
just a
sorry.
quick question around. Oh, no, it's okay. You're watching the chat.
Yeah.
A quick question around recertification. Like, if things change over time, is there like a every so many years it'd be good to take refresher courses, or what does that look like?
Sure, that's a great question. So the MMP and the AMP certifications, so CAMP certifications in following the AMP program, you will apply to PEMAC for those certifications, and initially it's completion of those courses that qualify your credit through PLAR for some of them to get the certification. In order to maintain those certifications through PEMAC, including the competency-based ones too, CTAM and all those other ones I shared, they do have CPD requirements. And so there is over a 3-year period to maintain your MMP certification, for example. Each 3-year period, you do need to have 120 hours of continuing professional development credit, and that can be gathered in a number of ways. And so we really, it's really just to make an understanding that your learning doesn't really just end in the classroom. You're applying that knowledge in your day-to-day roles or in other things that you're learning. And so the 120 hours really can be captured in a number of ways. It could be your professional practice. You can apply up to 20 hours per year in your role. If you're using that knowledge in your role, you can use 20 hours a year for that. And that's half of the 60 hours over 3 years right there. It could be also informal learning, how you're maybe watching webcasts or reading articles or, reading reports or different things like that. There's a lot of informal learning that can be captured through CPD hours, as well as other things. So it's not intended that you have to continue taking courses and doing your learning in that sense, but if you are, that's great. You can count those as formal learning, and those hours will count towards your 120 over the 3-year period. Or if you're teaching as well, we're always, later on in your career and experience, you may be teaching others in your work or outside in an organization, those hours count. So there's a variety of categories that will you'll be able to capture those CPD hours on, but that is a continual maintenance of those PEMAC certifications do require that you establish kind of that continual learning of things that are changing and such. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. If MMP Module 4 on its own, yes, you could. We do recommend Module 1 be taken for sure as that baseline, but it's not a hard and fast rule. There are exceptions where we certainly have, for example, organizations that take private training and offer a number of different modules, and then we have staff within that organization come in and out of different modules. So you could take Module 4 by itself if that's what really was a focus for you in that learning. Mm-hmm. The Module 1 setting a baseline of how all of those things connect would be, recommended. But certainly Module 4 could be on its own, as with the other modules. Go ahead, Jen.
No, I agree with that. It's the Module 1 kind of gives you the context for everything, and then you learn the detailed aspects of that in Module 4. So I'd recommend both at a minimum.
Yeah. Great question, though. Great question. I'll just check any other hand ups that I missed.
See any more hands, Nicole?
Okay, awesome. Certainly. Well, we'll hang on for a little bit longer if there's any other questions. I don't see any dots right now, but we definitely can. Oh, is there tuition for the AMP courses? Great question. Yeah, so all of the programs delivered through the institutions, there's a registration fee, tuition fee, registration for the courses, and AMP. I'll maybe stop and let Johanna talk about the AMP program, AMP courses.
Yes, so there is tuition, and we do have reduced tuition up until a week before the start of the course. Same as for MMP as for AMP. So for the AMP courses, the regular tuition is about $925 before the fees. And then the reduced price, which is available up until a week before the class, is $895 before everything else.
Great question. Okay. Well, I'll just wait one more minute here. A couple more coming. Really great. We're really happy that everyone could participate again, just as these last questions come in. We'll hang on though after we end the recording just to continue answering any other questions that you might have. As I mentioned, the recording will be available, and we'll be emailing that out to everybody after, as well as links to kind of find that schedule and enroll or find more information about either of the programs or the CAMA preparation course as well. We're always here to be able to answer any other questions myself. Oh, Monica. We'll share Johanna's information. Sorry, Monica's on that chart. Johanna, we'll certainly share that in the email as well, but reach out to me as if you'd like at PEMAC. I'm pd@pemac.org for more information. Yeah. And thank you again for everyone for joining us today. And we really appreciate the time you've taken. And we hope we've answered your questions about all of the great learning that's available through PEMAC and Northern Lakes College.
Oh, we got a heart. Yay.
All right, I've just put the a general email in the chat there. That goes to our whole entire department. So if I happen to be on vacation, they are really great at providing information to anybody who's interested in any of these programs as well. All right, and I will end the recording now. And we'll stay here if there's any more questions.